First Chronicles chapter 9, verse 1. So all Israel was listed in the genealogical record in the book of the kings of Israel. Verse 2. The first of the exiles to return to their property in their former towns were priests, Levites, temple servants, and other Israelites. Verse 3. Some of the people from the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, Ephraim, and Manasseh came and settled in Jerusalem. Verse 4. One family that returned was that of Uthai, son of Ammihud, son of Omri, son of Imri, son of Bani, a descendant of Perez, son of Judah. Verse 5. Others returned from the Shilonite clan, including Asaiah the oldest and his sons. Verse 6. From the Zerathite clan, Joel returned with his relatives. In all, 690 families from the tribe of Judah returned. Verse 7. From the tribe of Benjamin came Salu, son of Meshullam, son of Hodaviah, son of Hasanua. Verse 8. Ibaniah, son of Jeroham, Elah, son of Uzi, son of Micri, son of Meshullam, son of Shephatiah, son of Roy, son of Ibanijah. Verse 9. These men were all leaders of clans. They were listed in their genealogical records. In all, 956 families from the tribe of Benjamin returned. Verse 10. Among the priests who returned were Jediah, Jehorib, Jachin. Verse 11. Azariah, son of Hilkiah, son of Meshullam, son of Zadok, son of Meroith, son of Ahitub. Azariah was the chief officer of the house of God. Verse 12. Other returning priests were Adaiah, son of Jeroham, son of Pashur, son of Mekijah, and Messiah, son of Adhiel, son of Jaziriah, son of Meshullam, son of Meshlemith, son of Immer. Verse 13. In all, 1,760 priests returned. They were heads of clans and very able men. They were responsible for ministering at the house of God. Verse 14. The Levites who returned were Shemaiah, son of Ahishub, Ashhob, son of Azrikam, son of Ahasbiah, a descendant of Merari. Verse 14. Bakbakar, Herish, Galal, Mathaniah, son of Micah, son of Zikri, son of Asaph. Verse 16. Obadiah, son of Shemaiah, son of Galal, son of Jeduthun, son of Berechiah, son of Asa, son of Elkanah, who lived in the area of Netophah. Verse 17. The gatekeepers who returned were Shalom, Akab, Talmon, Ahiman, and their relatives. Shalom was the chief gatekeeper. Verse 18. Prior to this time, they were responsible for the king's gate on the east side. These men served as gatekeepers for the camp of the Levites. Verse 19. Shalom was the son of Kori, a descendant of Abiesah from the clan of Korah. He and his relatives, the Kohathites, were responsible for guarding the entrance to the sanctuary, just as his ancestors had guarded the tabernacle in the camp of the Lord. Verse 20. Phinehas, son of Eleazar, had been in charge of the gatekeepers in earlier times, and the Lord had been with him. Verse 21. And later, Zachariah, son of Meshelemiah, was responsible for guarding the entrance to the tabernacle. Verse 22. In all, there were 212 gatekeepers in those days, and they were listed according to their genealogies in their villages. David and Samuel the seer had appointed their ancestors because they were reliable men. Verse 23. These gatekeepers and their descendants by their divisions were responsible for guarding the entrance to the house of the Lord when that house was a tent. Verse 24. The gatekeepers were stationed on all four sides, east, west, north, and south. Verse 25. Their relatives in the villages came regularly to share their duties for 7 days periods. Verse 26. The 4 chief gatekeepers, all Levites, were trusted officials, for they were responsible for the rooms and treasuries at the house of God. Verse 27. They would spend the night around the house of God, since it was their duty to guard it and open the gate every morning. Verse 28. Some of the gatekeepers were assigned to care for the various articles used in worship. They checked them in and out to avoid any loss. Verse 29. Others were responsible for furnishing the items in the sanctuary and the supplies such as the choice flour, wine, olive oil, frankincense, and spices. Verse 30. But it was the priest who blended the spices. Verse 31. Mattithiah, a Levite and the oldest son of Shalom, the Kohathite, was entrusted with baking the bread used in the offerings. Verse 32. And some members of the clan of Kohath were in charge of preparing the bread to be set on the table each Sabbath day. Verse 33. The musicians, all prominent Levites, lived at the temple. They were exempt from other responsibilities, since they were on duties at all hours. Verse 34. All these men lived in Jerusalem. They were heads of Levite families and were listed as prominent leaders in their genealogical records. Verse 35. Jeiel, the father of Gibeon, lived in the town of Gibeon. His wife's name was Maacah. Verse 36. And his oldest son was named Abdon. Jeiel's other sons were Zor, Kish, Baal, Ner, Nadab. Verse 37. Giddo, Ahio, Zachariah, and Mikloth. Verse 38. Mikloth was the father of Shimem. All these families lived near each other in Jerusalem. Verse 39. Ner was the father of Kish. Kish was the father of Saul. Saul was the father of Jonathan, Mekishua, Abinadab, and Eshbel. Verse 40. Jonathan was the father of Meribal. Meribal was the father of Micah. Verse 41. The sons of Micah were Pithon, Melech, Thariah, and Ahaz. Verse 42. Ahaz was the father of Jatha. Jatha was the father of Elimeth, Asmoveth, and Zimri. Zimri was the father of Moza. Verse 43. Moza was the father of Benia. Benia's son was Rephaiah. Rephaiah was the father of Eleazar. Eleazar's son was Aziel. Verse 44. Aziel had 6 sons, whose names were Azrikam, Bokiru, Ishmael, Seraiah, Shiriah, Obadiah, and Hanan. These were the sons of Azriel. Amen.